All right, so now we officially have a way to die, which is always enjoyable and necessary. Now let's have a way to win. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do next. So first, what I'm gonna do is save this scene. So I'm just gonna do File, Save. Okay, and then we're gonna do a new one. File, New Scene. It's just gonna be an empty scene. I'll select the camera. And let's just make it, bright and sunny like that. Okay, I'm just grabbing the color here, and we're just gonna add something that says victory. Okay, so we're gonna go game object UI. I'm not gonna go and just describe what all these things are. We'll discuss them eventually, but we'll say so game object UI, and here it is here, and I just want to change the text that's in it, and we're just gonna say victory, like so. And then I want to put it centered, and we'll make the font like, I don't know, 72. You can see it doesn't fit, so I actually have to change the width and the height. So let's do like 5, let's do 700 by, let's say, 100. Should probably be good enough. Good, it fits pretty good. And the next thing I want to do is, you can see it's on the bottom left. I want to put it in the center, so to do that, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift and click on that. That's going to put it right in the center. That's all I want for that for now. It's good enough. We could do more with it, but if you want to do more, go ahead. Have fun with it. There's colors and all sorts of things. We're just going to call that good, and we're just going to save this. So I'm just going to do File, Save As. Make sure it's saved in the Scenes folder, and we'll just call this Victory. Yeah, let's call it Victory. Okay, so it'll be Victory. Woo! Okay, so now what we want to do is go back to our other scene. So we can do this a couple different ways. We'll just do it this way for now, and I'll show you other ways later. So File, Open Scene, go to your Scenes, and open Level 1. All right, so now we're back where we are. What we're going to have happen is that when we reach our victory condition, which is just going to be a door, it's going to open up the victory level. That's the idea, okay? So you know that you won, because we're just doing kind of a basic platform where you're trying to get from point A to point B, and there'll be obstacles in the way. So we need to make an object here that we can go into. So let's go ahead and we'll just create a 2D object. We'll create a sprite. And I'm going to click on the little target next to the none sprite here. Again, we'll use UI sprite. I'm going to change the color, and let's make it like door colored. Right? So like, we'll say like that. Looks like a door. Okay? And then I'm just going to, let's zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to hit... I'm just holding Alt and then right mouse button, middle mouse button, okay? Let's back up a little bit. And then I'm going to hit W for move. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to hit R for scale. Scale it bigger. And I'm just going to scale it wider. And that will be our door. It's so exciting. It's such a great door. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and call this, let's call it door. Works for me. Okay. So we got a door. We're going to go right on through that door. Okay. We're going to do basically the same thing we did with the death box script, but we're going to make a victory box script. So, same thing as before. We're going to right click in here, create C# script, and we're going to call it victory box script, and go ahead and open that up. Come on. Double click on it. Maybe. Apparently I'm bad at double clicking today. It was just taking a second to compile. Didn't show up yet. There it goes. Okay. And this is going to be super duper easy. It's more or less going to be the same thing as the first one. I'm going to get rid of this bottom function. I don't need it. And we'll get rid of the comment there. And instead of start, it will be on trigger enter 2D. And then we got to say... we want to store the collider that we run into right in here, okay? And now we're just going to literally say, I didn't put that in there right. If col.tag is equal to the player, we're going to want to do what's in these braces, okay? So basically, it's just going to test. If the thing that runs into it, if it's the player, then, you win, okay? So that's the lump sum of it. So let's go ahead and we'll save that. It isn't going to change anything. I'm going to go back here, and we just need to do a couple of things before we bother typing in what's going to go in those braces. Okay. So one thing is I'm going to select this door again. Got to do it over here. And we need to add that trigger to it. So I'm going to go add component, physics 2D, box collider. And we're going to make sure it's a trigger. And I'm going to edit collider. And I'm just going to put it, so that way you walk into the door first. It doesn't like it really matters that much. But I'm just going to go like that. That way, you know, otherwise you would never see you kind of walk to the door. So I'm just going to put a little bit behind it, about halfway. That looks good. Says it's trigger. Good. Now the other thing I need to do is I want to load basically the next level. Okay. So what I have to do is you actually have to notice that these are called scenes, right? So if you're in a movie and stuff, like one scene happens after the next scene. That's what we need to do here. So the levels are actually set up in kind of a chronological order, and we do it in here. You're going to go to File, Build Settings. And then right now you'll see that you have this in here. I'm just going to hit select that and just hit delete. Okay, because right now, if we were to build this game, it would actually use the sample scene, which is probably empty. I'm not even sure. Sorry about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to head and add the open scene, which is the current scene we're in. Add open scene, and it says level 1. Great. Now I need to open up that my second scene, which we're going to change the order of these eventually. I want that to be my victory scene. So I'm going to actually close this out. And I'm going to show you the other way to get to scenes. So I'm going to go to Assets, Scenes, and then I'm going to select this sample scene, delete that. We don't really need that anymore. I'm going to click on this one, just double click on it. Yeah, go ahead and save, that's fine. And then while we have this scene open, I'm going to go to Build Settings, and we're going to hit Add Open Scene. So now you see level 1, and now you see victory. And you can see it says 0, then 1. So that's the way you build your levels. You just put one right after the other. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go directly to the next one. You can do things that you can move to 13, and then go to 12, and then go up to 100, and then back to 3. But by default, this is just the order that it's looking at it in, okay? And actually, the way we're going to write our scripts is going to keep it linear, just because it's a little bit easier to work, but it is definitely possible to kind of just go wherever you want. It's just that's the way that they're set up. It's only going to be able to open up the scenes that are in here, so we have to make sure we put the scenes of our game in here. Otherwise, they won't be able to get to them. Okay, so that looks good. You can close that out now, and I'm going to double click back on level 1, so that I'm back on level 1. Great. So now we have it set up that we can go to the next level. And notice that the one was 0 and the other one was 1. If for some reason yours are messed up, let me just show you. Like, let's say, oh crap, this one's here. You can literally just click and drag, and you can move them. So you can move your scenes around. So don't feel like you're stuck if you actually went in the wrong order. All right, so that looks good. So now what we need to do is we need to have that happen, that it's going to go to the next level with the code we put in here, okay? Now, the thing is, the code that allows us to do, they used to do it a different way. Unity always adds more and more and more stuff every whatever. They just keep adding tons and tons of different programming things that you can do. So if you look up here, remember I said, oh, these are like the library of things that we're allowed to do. The what they call the scene manager is actually it's not part of the basic Unity. I don't know why they don't just incorporate it, but basically we have to import that in a way. So we're going to say using Unity Engine dot, it's like a sub-library, scene management, semicolon. If you don't put this in, we're going to write some code down here. The method that we need will not be available because it won't know what it is. It'll just think like, what is this? This doesn't exist. Now it will know. So what we're going to do is type in scene manager dot load scene parentheses. So what it's going to do is you do scene manager dot load scene, and it's going to load whatever I put in here. Now, if I put the scene name in here, so I could literally put 1 and do a semicolon, and that would work. Because what it'll do is that if you remember on the build settings here, where are you build settings? See how there's 0 and 1? I could also just type in victory and put that in quotes, and that would also work. So I can have it go to any one of them just by typing in whatever I want there. But I'm actually going to do something a little bit different because I'm going to set up something that what it does is it looks at the current level and then goes up and then adds to it one number. So like if we're on level 0, it'll be level 1. And then if we're on level 1, it'll add 1 to it, and it'll be level 3. And if we're on 3, it'll add 1 and be on 4. And that way, we'll set up one piece of code that will just go to the next one in chronological order. It's just easier to work. But if you did want to have like, oh, you can go to town, and you click on a button, go to town, then you probably want it to say to town, whatever the level's name is. Okay? So we're going to do it a little bit differently, which is a little bit more complicated, but it's not like super complicated. So what we're going to do is, again, leverage the scene manager. The scene manager has another function in it called get active scene. So this is going to be the scene that we're in. Okay? Dot. And then it's going to say build index. And then we're going to add 1 to it. So it's going to look at the active scene, the build index number of the active scene. So in our case, it's 0. And then it's going to add 1. Probably could have just done plus plus thinking about it. Plus plus. It doesn't like that though. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and just add 1. Okay. And so if we were on level 3, it would add 1. Let's put a space there. It would add 1, and then it would go to level 4. Okay. Based on the build index, which is the number there. So then we'll save that, and we'll go here. And we'll play. Okay, and I'm going to jump. And, woo, didn't work. Okay, so let's see why it's not working. Let's see, did we get any errors? Didn't get any errors. Oh, I know why it didn't work. The script's not attached. So we actually got to put the script on the thing here. So, good job, me. Okay, so I'm going to go to the door, grab the victory box. Drop it there. Drop it like it's hot. And we're going to see if we can get this to go. Okay. Whoop. There we go. And now it goes to victory and we win. Okay. So pretty straightforward. So what we can do is that we could have a whole nother level here, right? And just have the player on this one. Then we go to the end of this one. And then we can keep using that victory condition to get to the last one. And then the very last one, we could just set up something like this, like good job, and have a scrolling thing that says these are the people that, made the game and all that other business, the stuff that people ignore and skip past through. Okay. But now let's go ahead and save that. Control S. Now we have the finished game. So there you go. So now we can start to build more levels and things like that. I know right now our camera's not moving or anything like that. We'll add. We're gonna keep building on this. I kept this one a little bit shorter just because you need to read the stuff above all the scripting information. All right. So good luck. Good job.